Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special Inside the Birds TV episode with Geoff Mosher and Adam Caplan. And of course, we've got an extra special guest, maybe the one of the best guests we've ever had. If you've seen him, you know he's a longtime he is a Philadelphian. He's a longtime Eagles season ticket holder. You see the hat right there. He's fired up. He's none other than the host of CNBC's Mad Money. He's also an author, and we'll get into some other things he's doing. It's Jim Cramer. Jim, so glad to have you on Inside the Birds. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, Geoff, I got to tell you, we're on the eve of a game that the proportions of which make me feel like the old Dick Stockton, where like the frozen tundra, except for it's not going to be that cold. Yes, this Sunday night game is going to be so big that, frankly, those who are watching my show in the next 2 days, Mad Money, have to know that I'm not thinking about what they're talking about.
I think we can understand why, Jim. Now, listen, your motto these days is stocks, sports, and spirits, and we're gonna cover all three of them: stocks, sports, and spirits. Let's work backwards. Spirits. You and your wife are now involved in the spirit industry. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, my wife Lisa, after 5 years of work, has come up with a mezcal. Now, remember, that's not tequila; it's mezcal. It's a little higher end.
Even better.
We've got two different ones. One's called they're both Bala. And all this stuff, this terminology just means they're 7,000 feet in the mountains from Mexico. And it's very exciting. Why? Because we're signing bottles at what we used to call state stores when we were growing up, guys. But now we're talking about fine wine and spirit stores. First one at the Granary from 12 to 2. And then on Bala from 12 to 2. And then the Granary from 4 to 6. The Bala one, by the way, is exactly where I'm from. And the Granary's downtown. This is a return home for me. I am then going to go right to the game, guys.
Well, so this is on Sunday. This is on Sunday you're doing these things.
Chicken and Pete's from the Granary and then to the game.
Wow, so you got a big day. You're going to be doing signings at these two places for your and the name of the mezcal, by the way, is Fósforo. Do I have that correctly?
Fósforo, which is Spanish for match.
Gotcha.
And it's got that little bit of sulfur taste. So
Gotcha.
It's fun. I mean, we're down last week. And look, I'll go to Philadelphia every weekend. We stayed, by the way, at that new Four Seasons that's in the Comcast building.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't Philadelphia. That was like the Riviera.
Things are changing, my friend.
Yes, they have. It changed in a lot of fun ways. But I love your show. I know your guys' stuff. And I know that Inside the Birds is about where I want to be. I think about them way too much, guys. I don't know.
You're our type of client then, or customer,
I should say. It? I mean, I added sports. So it's just going to be spirits, but I added sports because what am I going to? I'm going to wear Smith's jersey. I wore Brandon Graham's. Hey, game worn jerseys. That's all I believe in. And guys, I'm a little overwhelmed. We're 5-0.
I got to ask. I don't know, Adam, if we should give him any tips for how to get out of this. We're like the brokers here. We want him to want more Inside the Birds, right?
That's right. Well, before we get to that, though, I do want, because I always like the background on how people get into certain businesses.
Sure.
What was your wife's motivation to get into the spirit business?
Sure. Well, we have a house in San Miguel de Allende, which is a really fun place, and we were down there 12 years ago, and we're asking regular people what they drink, and what they're really drinking was mezcal. And then she opened a bar called Bar San Miguel in Brooklyn, and that was 80% tequila and 20% mezcal. And after 8 years, it had switched to being 50% mezcal, 50% tequila, just to meet the demand. So she came up with Fósforo, and the best place that we're selling it is in Philadelphia, and that's why we're going to Bala at 12 o'clock on Sunday, and while we're going to the Granary at 4 o'clock. And these are big signings. I mean, we sold out in Ardmore, so you got to get there pretty early. But I did like to talk to every single person about sports. If people ask about stocks, I do that too. But what happened was she just said, you know what? Mezcal's doing this great. I'm going to go all over Mexico until I find the best. And she did. And it's from Puebla. And Fósforos, we're selling real good. What can I say? So when the state stores asked us to come down, we go. And then we went to a place called Nightmare. We sold a ton. There's just a lot of great places downtown where we're doing really, really well. We're selling best in Pennsylvania of all the states. And it is a joy to go back to Philadelphia with my own brand of mezcal and see people drinking it right off the shelf, just like saying, hey, listen, I take a Fósforo. So we're happy to do some signing. We love the people who work for the fine wines and spirits, and that's Bala at 12. and the Granary at 4.
Awesome.
And just to let our listeners and viewers know, we'll put the addresses in the description box of the podcast and the YouTube video. So if anyone wants to be able to GPS it right there to go see Jim Cramer, they'll be able to do that. Jim, I don't know if everybody, because it's a little obscured over your right shoulder, but you got a Phillies hat right there, right on the shelf too.
Okay, so this is not just any Phillies hat. This is actually made of tires.
Oh, you were on it. I thought you were pulling our leg about that.
No, it's actually made of tires. It's fully environmental. Look, those things matter. I mean, to us, I don't know. I mean, I was a vendor. Okay, I own the seventh. I own the 7th level. There was nobody could touch me. Why? Because I paid off everybody so that no one could sell against me. I did. I sold ice cream, and what I realized was I know how to do this job. You give everybody else money to stay off the 700 level, and then just have them line up. And the only thing that was bad was when Carlton would pitch. He was so fast. You only had 5 innings worth you sell, and then you had to stop. But yeah, I paid those guys $2 not to sell against me. So it was kind of my first ability to monopolize, and the Justice Department had no idea what was going on.
Oh my God, Scorsese should make a movie about you, man.
I would love that. I would love it. I want De Niro to play me.
There you go. There you go. I don't know. Is he good looking enough to play you, Jim? I mean, this is Robert De Niro.
No, make it Pacino.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, with the Phillies hat, I mean, this is such a great time for a guy like you, a longtime Philadelphia fan, to have the Phillies in the playoffs. And obviously the Eagles are undefeated. And I don't know if you're a soccer fan, but the Union are the top seed in the MLS playoffs. It's just an amazing time. These are few in moments that are few and far between. So you got to cherish them when they're here. And of course, the Sixers are going to be good. We know that.
Didn't you love Coach Nick wearing Schmitty's jersey and saying it's a great time to be a Philadelphia fan? You know, there are people who are on that team that absolutely love Philadelphia. I feel like they're not renting Philadelphia. They're actually owning Philadelphia. And that's a great thing for the city. The city needs that. I've always felt like places like Kansas City have that going, at Chicago. Now we have it. And I think it's fantastic.
Jim, the Dallas game, of all the 4 sports, because I know you follow them, what does this Dallas game mean to you as a kid growing up here in the area?
All right. Well, I never threw batteries. I did.
I feel a butt coming on.
I had no problem throwing snowballs. Now that's not an assault. I mean, I'm not pushing some cameraman down. I never did that. What did the cameraman do? They never did anything wrong. But I know that when you look at how much you hate Dallas, and then you find fans, get this. My buddy Tom McGrath, he's my box mate at the Eagles. He goes down to Dallas, and he's wearing an Eagles jersey just to tempt them. And they're all saying, thank you for support your team. Thank you. I mean, when you go in that elevator upstairs and there's a guy with a Cowboys jersey, it's just funny. You tend to bump into him. I mean, like hard. It is like, let's say it's just you and that guy. To get around him, you got to bump into him. Yeah. So we don't have the same ethos. How about that for it? We don't have the same ethos. And I don't really like anyone from Dallas. I mean, as a principal, I mean, maybe there's like a really nice person from Dallas, and I feel bad for them, but I don't like them either.
What do you think about? Well, actually, before we get to the game, though, I mean, every time we have someone of your stature on, a longtime Eagles fan, a season ticket holder, we have to always ask about 2017 and how special that was. And I mean, I imagine you were at a lot of the home games, and
I never missed a game.
Yeah, there you go. Never missed a game.
I even chopper to the damn games. All right, so here's what happened. Remember the Niner game where it was raining real bad?
Yes.
Okay, so I was down on the field because Howie Roseman gave me one of those great yellow tickets, which allows you to be a long snapper, basically. And I thought I saw the coach. I saw Coach, whom I missed, by the way, even though and I stood up when he came for the Jags. Okay, I did that. And he was down. He was down on the sidelines. I said, Coach Peterson, you got to get more fired up. You absolutely have to get more fired up. I lifted him up. I said, get more jacked. Get more jacked. Well, I didn't know was he was mic'd by NFL. So in that hour-long thing, that's the great. I've watched it like a gazillion times. The lead up to the Super Bowl. There's a guy, the voiceover. It's always so good. He says, a lot of the Philadelphia fans, people don't realize, get completely carried away. This shouldn't happen. And then it has a picture of me lifting him and me saying that he should be more jacked. And what's the deal with him? Why is he so down? And that's Philadelphia, isn't it? And that was just, we went. We went to the Super Bowl, and the first thing I remember was I had to do my show, and I had my phone, right? And I walk it. Of course, there's like 42,000 pictures from that game, and it's -5, and your phone is no good. So I had to walk 2 miles to get to my hotel, and all I could think of was, I don't care. Frank Reich, by the way, texted me that morning, and as Coach Frank Reich, for those who just got born like about a minute ago, and he texted me and he goes, "There, by the grace of God, there will be a play that you will see, and Coach Belichick will not realize until
Get out of here."
later." Not kidding. Not kidding.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Now, you know,
Gee, I wonder what play he was talking about.
I know.
Everyone claimed that was theirs. I mean, I'm surprised Wentz didn't claim it. Wentz. We can talk about that. I have another 7 hours. But you know, and the Fed doesn't like the labor market. Great. But, you know, that was just one of those moments where it was Frank's play. Okay. Philly was Frank. It wasn't Nick Foles. It wasn't Corey Clement, by the way. I mean, we like Corey because he's from the town. It wasn't Peterson's. It was Frank's. But Frank is not going to take credit. But it was his idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I didn't realize that. It was Frank's. That's because Frank's like the smartest guy in America.
And he texted you before the game, like in the minutes before the game or the night before the game?
Oh, probably around 9 o'clock. And I never tell him.
Probably around the second quarter with about 3 to go.
I never tell my wife we're going to win because Frank told me we're going to win. Now, she thinks Frank's a mythical figure. He's just some guy who texts. She's like, who is that guy? So it's Frank Reich. She goes, well, what does he do? Well, I say he's the offensive coordinator. He goes, well, what's that? I mean, God, when people don't know football and they pretend or they're involved with you. She took a nap during the second half of the Cardinal game. Can you imagine?
Oh,
fell asleep.
Missed all the fireworks.
Yeah, on that first drive that lasted 72 minutes by Kyler Murray, she was asleep.
She missed a whole lot of screen passes. That's rough.
Yeah. You know, and then when their kicker missed the field goal,
Matt
he said to me, and I love this, if he missed it, it doesn't count, right?
Right.
True.
Genius. She's been with me to probably 800 games. And she, if it missed it, it doesn't count. Yeah, you got that, sister.
Jim, that was a fellow Montgomery. Wait, is Lansdale Bucks or Monco?
Lansdale?
Bucks.
That's Monco.
That was a Monco guy right there missing that kick.
I ran against Sean McDermott's dad. He was from Lansdale Catholic. I beat him. I was faster than he was.
That's where Amendola. Well, he went to North Penn, Matt Amendola.
Right. Which is
by the way,
well, you know, I looked him up. I said, did I draft that guy by mistake? Did Schefter put me in Amendola after Jake Elliott went down? Schefter. Can I just say?
That's funny.
You know what? Hey, guess who I sat next to at his daughter's bat mitzvah? Coach Shanahan. How many people get to sit next to Coach Shanahan at a guy's kid's bat mitzvah?
Wait, senior or junior? Mike or Kyle?
One. Me.
That Mike or Kyle?
That's right.
Mike.
Okay. Mike Shanahan. All right, I just making sure we had the right Shanahan. Okay. I wasn't sure which one. There's two.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about the real one, not the son.
Oh,
my fault. Only the guy who was in the NFC Championship game last year. My fault.
Comes in a suit, like you introduce yourself to him, and he's really kind and nice, and you keep thinking there's got to be something wrong. There's got to be some hitch to this thing, right? Mm-hmm. No, he's like just a great guy.
Wow.
Like, just great. And you'd want him to coach your team if you're, say, Dave Tepper at the Panthers. You just call. So here's $68 million to you, Chief. It's $68 million, right? Isn't that what you get when you coach?
Well, that's what Matt got. Yeah, I don't know if the next guy will be so lucky.
Matt,
we'll see.
Matt, your first name's with Matt, huh?
Well, I'm a Penn State guy. He's a Penn State guy. We do
Penn
that.
State guy. We got a Penn State guy over here.
Nice.
Jeff Marks. Yeah, he's best friends with everybody who's ever played at Penn State. He's told me that.
That's great.
There isn't a guy that hasn't played at Penn State. He's not best friends. Parsons, best friends. Okay. Sanders, best friends. Saquon, best friends. I don't know. I don't have those many friends. Justin Pugh, he claims is a friend.
Justin Pugh is also a Eastern Pennsylvania guy.
Syracuse, right.
Yeah. I think he's from Bucks County.
He's a kid from Upper Dublin. And I'm from Springfield, Monco.
There you go. There you go. So what was the NFC champion? Because the Super Bowl, I know you were at. You talked about it, but
I cried.
the NFC championship game for Philadelphia.
Tweeted it 700,000 looks.
That's it. 700,000.
All right, 701,000. Let me just put some.
There
more.
you go. What was being in Minnesota? I mean, in the link like for that game against the Vikings, though, because that was a treat for Philadelphia to be able to be there for that.
Beat down the Vikings.
Yeah,
beat down. Well, first of all, I took the subway down. Senior citizens ride for free. You know what I mean, bud? And I take
Adam does, yes.
down, and you can barely fit in. So there's just a sense of joy. All right. And then we controlled that game from the second it started, and it was a party. It was a party. Now, amazing. I'll tell you the flip side. When we get the strip sack, okay, the famous strip sack, Graham strip sack, I look up at Howie, and I go, yes! And what does he do? What does he do at that moment in the strip sack? This is a good quiz.
I don't know. Whip out the inhaler?
He does this. What does this mean?
3.
3 what?
What was there? Like 3 minutes still left?
3 timeouts.
3 timeouts.
Oh,
okay.
He's saying, cool it, you jerk. You're a Philadelphia moron, and you don't understand anything. And they got 3 timeouts, and they can go to Gronk, timeout. And we're going to lose because you are already saying, yay, we win, because you're a clown. That's what this is. That's better than, just one finger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. So do you think this team, let's talk about this team now. They're 5-0. They got Dallas coming up. Do you see, like, as the fan, are you feeling the 2017 vibes with this team, or is that like not, you don't bring that up? I don't know how that works.
I was talking to Howie last weekend, and I said, I'll never mention it. I said, I'm not going to mention it because the reason why we will lose is because I mentioned it. It's like at the Super Bowl in 2005, I went up to Tammy Reed. And I said, you know why we're here? And she said, why? I said, because I wear my same Lucky Green Gap T-shirt every game. And she stopped. She said, really? I thought that my husband might have something to do with it. She was wrong because, I didn't wear it to that game.
Oh.
That's why we lost. And that's how I feel. We're so look, we're idiot. Philadelphians are incredibly superstitious because it's correct to be superstitious.
Right.
I'm not going to jinx us. On this show, this show is so important that I know if I even say that I feel like then, I'm going to be winced.
Yeah, but
by the way, worse than lost.
Let me ask you this.
What does it mean to be winced? What? 3 different teams. Now, when I went to training camp, okay, you get this. I went to training camp. I went to breakfast, okay? Jake Rosenberg took me to breakfast. He's the greatest guy. The front office is amazing. And Wentz is sitting all by himself. All by himself.
What year was it? What year?
What's that about?
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds a little Namdi Asamoah-ish.
Oh,
right?
my.
Eating lunch by himself.
I remember going up to Lehigh to see him. And that was, it was right after the Dream Team comment, right? Which Howie says, by the way, if you ever mention the term dream and the term team in one sentence, you might as well just move to Dallas. He doesn't want to see it. How about that draft? How about what he did? How about AJ? Yeah. Why didn't they go to AJ at all last week? What was that about?
I don't know. There were a lot of screen passes, Jim. It felt like that was more the offense than the downfield offense because the Cardinals blitz a lot.
And how about because was Connor down, so therefore we should just play soft and not jam the box? I didn't like the way we played in the second half. I think we got very lucky. So
how do you feel about this Cowboys game coming up now? Are you a little worried? First of all, be honest. Did you think when Dak went down, they were done? Did you think when Dak went down, the Cowboys were done? Because that was what Philadelphia thought.
Yes, I did. That was a very big mistake of mine. I also felt that the Ski Daddies were done. That's my team. I'd actually drafted Dak at the advice of Schefter, no less. Oh. And, that was because everybody else had been picked, basically. But, yeah, I'm nervous. And I'm nervous because the O-line's banged up. I'm nervous because their D is ferocious. And I'm nervous because their clown quarterback turned not to be a clown. We have to see. I mean, I think that I'm surprised so far when they lost Cooper that it's played some roles. CeeDee Lamb gave you no points last week. Well, he gave you 8 points. So I don't know. I mean, I'm naturally nervous. I do think that people believe that our 5-0 suddenly is against teams that aren't strong enough, and help people create that myth. But I am worried because of the D, and I just worry that Hurts will have a little bit of a Tampa Bay. If you remember that Tampa Bay game, that it could be like that because that was just a great D that really had his number.
I do want to ask you a question about the Phillies. You did throw out the first pitch in 2016.
It was a strike.
I was.
According to who?
Practice leading up to it?
Let me tell you how I got a strike. This is how you do it. Okay, so I got to show Mad Money, and I got a lot of guys who were all sports fans, and we're all in the Mad Money league. So what I did was after it was in the spring, after every single night of the show, I would go outside with the hardball and I'd throw. We started 20 feet.
There you go.
We do that for a week, then 30 feet for a week, then 40 feet 2 weeks, 50 feet 2 weeks, and then 60 feet 1 week. So when you're throwing at 60 feet and you're and as your warm up and you get down there, and the coach of the Diamondbacks was telling me, listen, doing 4-finger seam. I knew it. And then I proceeded to knock over the Fanatic because I was so excited.
So it was like, did you have a little late movement?
Exciting. I went to them. I said, listen, if I get a strike, can I talk to anybody I want? They said no. I said, okay, I get that. How about I talk to someone before? And they said, who do you want to talk to? I said, I want to talk to Chase Utley. Okay, so riding down in the elevator, I'm wearing my number 20. I got my Smitty jersey because I sleep in that, because still. And who is in the elevator but Schmidt? Can you imagine? I died and went to heaven, right? Been polishing the statue outside. The Schmidt said, and there he is. And he says, "Oh yeah, you're that guy." I love that. You're that guy. That could be anybody. There's 380,000 million people who are that guy. He said, "You're that guy." So then I go and I say, "I want to speak to Chase." So they give me Chase's jersey. Actually, a Chase jersey, unsigned, unworn, not game. And I see him, and he goes, "Listen, I'm Short Apple." It doesn't say, "Hi, Jim Cramer." That would have been nice, right? "Hi, Jim Cramer." Or how about, "Hey, you're the guy"? No, he just says, "I'm Short Apple." So I said, "Listen," and I chiefed him. I said, "Listen, Chief, you got to cover that, and you got to go Long Apple." And he goes, "What do you know?" And I said, "Do I tell you how to play second base? I mean, do I tell you how to hit home runs in a World Series?" He goes, "You're right. You're right." And I said, "What are you going to do?" He goes, "I'm going to cover Apple, and I'm going to go Long Apple." Now, if he did what he said, he'd be a gazillionaire, all right? But that was it. So then I got to 30. I got 37. I got Utley shirt on. So then Mike Schmidt says, "I want you to come into tells this the head office. I want Cramer to come into the booth and help call the 7th inning." So I go up, and he says to me, "Where's the Schmidt jersey?" I forgot to put the Schmidt jersey on. And I love him so much. And I'm so glad he likes Philadelphia enough to come back a few times because we were not great to him. I remember going when I was selling ice cream. He would, have 3 home runs and then strike out, and they'd be booing the heck out of him in the 9th.
Amazing. So did you ever have a follow-up with Schmitty on the stock tip there? Did he ever thank you?
No, I missed Utley, and I never talked to Schmitty again. But my mom sat next. My mom won one season ticket. She always entered every lottery. There was like the Philadelphia Daily News home run payoff, which I won, by the way.
Did you?
Greg
Really?
2-2 pitch over left center.
Okay. Who hit the homer?
1G.
Lizinski.
$1,000.
Who hit it?
That's amazing.
Greg Lizinski.
Bullshit.
How do you like that, huh?
I love
And then
it.
the Daily News wrote me up. I was somebody.
That's amazing. You from figuring the hustle out at the vet to selling ice cream to winning the Daily News home run challenge. You're just Philadelphia to the bone. It's unbelievable.
I went back to see where my mom grew up, and it's unfortunate. I wanted to. It's the second house on Broad and Lindley, so you just make left on Broad and Lindley when you're coming away from the city. It's the second house in, and it's all messed up. And I wanted to try to do it over. The neighborhood is tough, but I went past my dad's place when I was going to the last signing, going from Ardmore downtown to the signing in Fishtown, and the neighborhood looks pretty cool. And it looks like when my dad lived there. But yeah, I mean, everybody. My dad went to Overbrook High. He played on the same team as Will.
Really?
Oh wow!
Overbrook. Wow.
No, I had a feeling you might be pulling my leg on that one, but now I can't be sure because the Phillies.
My dad was You remember that when he had 100 points at Hershey? That was my dad feeding him.
I was going to say, yeah. I think everyone played that
my mom
game.
went to Germantown High.
Yeah.
And I was born in Germantown. I lived on Germantown Avenue.
All right, we've talked sports and we've talked spirits, and I said, the third part of that motto is stocks, and we've only touched on this a little bit with that story, but we have your fantasy team that you've referenced, the Mad Money fantasy team. We have your
team?
roster. We know who you have.
Jimmy G is. I know Jimmy G is because of Dak. I mean, don't laugh at me.
Listen, I can't. On my team, I had the 49 Trey Lance, and my backup was Jameis Winston. So I'm literally on my fourth quarterback already. All right, so I can't make fun of anybody.
Wow. Well, Dave Tepper would hire you to pick a quarterback for the Panthers.
Very much. Hey, if he wants to pay me $60 million, I'm all for it.
He's giving money away. He's got he's got about 10 bill.
He's been on your show before, right?
Dave's king.
Yeah.
I met Dave. Dave was my boss at Goldman. But we were at the Super Bowl, the Chiefs game, first time, and I was interviewing him, and he said, "Hey, do you know anything about this flu in China?" I said, "I've been reading about it. I think it's going to go around the world." He said, "Really? He's going to go around?" I said, "Yeah, I think this thing is like everyone in the world's going to get it." And like the guy behind me was like, "What? Some sort of quack." Then I flew back. I decided not to go to the game. I decided to go back and tell it on air. I said, "Look, guys, there's this flu coming from China. We're all going to get it. It's going to destroy the market." And my friend David Faber said, "Yeah, Jim, nothing like scaring everybody in the world about something that's never going to happen."
There we go. Wow.
You can't tell. Listen, you can only do what you can do, Jim.
Yeah.
By the way, we're talking about the Panthers owner, but Stevie Cohen owning the Mets, and he's throwing money around like crazy. I mean, this is starting to get like really high stakes here.
I sat next to him at a charity dinner, and he bought a table and he asked me to come in. And he and I ran the St. Jude's Wall Street division for years.
Uh-huh.
And what was so funny was I would go up and actually try to raise money, and he would just write a check. And the money he donated was always much more than everything I raised. That's not nice.
That's what John Middleton would call stupid money, huh?
Yes. Hey, they finally named the guy, the assistant to nothing coach to be the manager. Wasn't that nice?
Yeah. How about that 2-year contract for Topper?
It only took till the end of the season to name him that.
Well, it literally took to the end of the season for them to make the playoffs, Jim. It was a little dicey there.
And this relief pitching, oh boy, it scares me.
Yeah, we had to make starters and relievers. But on my team, I just made a change. By the way, I'm benching Judy, who has done absolutely nothing. Okay, he's done nothing.
Again, that's
and
all
I'm putting in Cobb. The move. I also had Dubs, but I can't. I'm going with Cobb because it's obvious Aaron Rodgers is total. I'm not even going to say it on air, but I think it's going to go to Cobb. I'm playing CeeDee Lamb, which I'm going to hate. Right, if he does well, it's like a horrible thing, but you're kind of hedging yourself. And then this guy, Travis Etienne.
Well, I want to ask you about him. All right. I specifically want to ask you about
45% of snaps last week.
Right. So we partner with Mojo. It's the app where it's like the NFL stock market. Okay. It's you can go and invest in certain offensive players, and their stats can, increase the shares or vice versa. It could go well. Etienne started off week 1 and 2 behind Robinson.
80-20.
And now his workloads, I feel like this is like the type of buy low, good investment player by the end of the year who might be like shoot up.
He had more than 70 yards. He's beaten Robinson now for 2 straight games, right? 2 straight games. And I think he's going to get the rock. Coach Peterson is a hot hand guy. Yep. I think this is a good team. And I think that you're right. I think you bought low. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good weekend. You
and I also have this we share players on my team. I got laughed at. Adam and Jim, I got laughed at in my league for drafting Ramondre Stevenson, like 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe 8th round. I even had my brother-in-law say, I've never heard of the guy. And I said, you're going to be crying. I actually just beat his team this week because Ramondre Stevenson had a great week. I feel like he's another guy.
He gave you 27. I'll tell you what else is that everybody else is hurt. You know how Belichick's like running back by committee. Well, how about if everybody in the committee's been shot except for your guy, right? I mean, that's what's happened. It's good. It's really good. Adam, you've always had some good picks.
Oh yeah, John Hanson. He and I, we love when you come on the show.
Haddonfield.
Yeah, that's right. Let me ask you this question:
He must have done well. Haddonfield's very nice.
John does well. Who are some of your breakout players this year? So obviously Chase, I'm assuming, because I'm looking at your team now. Who else did you like coming into the season?
who are my breakout players on my team?
Yeah, who are the guys? When you come into the season, there were certain players that I liked. Gabe Davis is one of them. For instance, he finally did something. He obviously a huge game last week. Who are some of the guys you kicked? Was Jamar Chase one of the guys that you thought?
He's been disappointing. He's been disappointing. He gave me nothing last week. He actually he's quite upsetting to me. But Kelsey. So I get 4 touchdowns last weekend, right? Well, the other guy, he's got Mahomes. I mean, tell me if that isn't the worst thing. I'll tell you something that really disappointed me was that I had Eagles D 2 weeks ago and they gave me 17. And then last week, Eagles D gave me 3. That was terrible.
I have it too, Jim. I got it too. I'm with you.
Can you believe we got 3 every time it's ticking like that? I hate it.
I
had Stevenson. Stevenson's great, but I'll give you the guy that has been outstanding now for the last 2 weeks. Pickens.
Oh, George Pickens, yes.
Oh yeah, I got him late.
Yeah,
now, he plays Tampa Bay, and everyone's afraid of the Tampa Bay D. I'm not afraid. I'm willing to take them on.
He's super gifted, man. He's
very hot. He's big.
Yeah.
And he's getting the lion's share. He has gotten the most both attempts and receptions.
Yes,
absolutely. He's really the guy. He's become the guy.
He's a monster too. It's not like manufactured touches. He is an animal. He's going to be a great one as soon as they get that passing game together.
What do you think? Do you think I'm right benching AJ Dillon?
His role is just it's never going to be any bigger than it is.
No, remember in previous seasons, he got a lot of kind of Westbrook like passes from Rodgers. I think Rodgers hates him, and Rodgers is a moody guy.
Yeah,
do you think he just hates him? Like Rodgers, after says my receivers suck. Does he ever say I suck? How about if he says I suck? Wouldn't that be great?
He does not.
By the way, I saw Andy was in a commercial. Right?
Yeah, how about that?
He was awesome in that commercial.
Really good. Yeah.
They had a guy in London that looked just like Rodgers in the stands. If they had changed up, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. That's how moody and awful. And suddenly, of course, the Giants have a great day. It's Rodgers. Rodgers, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, I think the safe bet with Dillon is to bench him for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they figure it out by the end of the year and you got to get him back in November or December. Yeah, they're going to figure it out. I do think Green Bay is going to figure it out.
Maybe Green Bay is awful this year, and that's what we're missing. Maybe Green Bay is just bad.
No, something happens in the playoffs. That's the thing with them. But anyway,
yeah.
Were you surprised at all at the opening Vikes game?
At the what?
But it's the first.
Yeah.
It was the first game of the season, and you got a new head coach. I could certainly see them starting well. The Vikings have had a very soft schedule. You saw what your Eagles did to them. They absolutely smoked them.
Yeah, the Eagles have a soft schedule, but I love
it. Yes. They've taken advantage of it.
We play the Commanders.
Yes, another time. The Commando.
Holy cow, the Commanders. I mean, the Commanders. I happen to like the Washington team better. But I mean, that team has got I'm calling dissension in the locker room.
That's possible. with that locker room every year, that's possible, to be honest with you.
Oh, my. And I like their coach very much. He was our coach. He was terrific. And I don't think he has – I think he can't rein those guys in.
No,
and how come Logan Thomas is available in every league?
Well, he's hurt. He's got a calf injury.
Is that what it is?
And the passing game hasn't exactly hit yet.
I know he's a Q. It's probably not really a Q. Dak is still an O.
Dak is still out. He is not going to play this Sunday. As we understand.
Okay, so I got this guy DuVernay. He's not worth anything, right? I should drop him.
Who's that?
Evan DuVernay, the Ravens.
Yeah, he's a cool.
I mean, I would only play him if Bateman's still out and if they're, Mark Andrews gets banged up.
Just a second. It just came up. Do not play me unless there's nuclear war.
Well, it sounds like you shouldn't play him. I hope.
Well, yeah, can't rule anything out. No, so get this. Schefter says you got to get Cook. So I do. I get James Cook.
Oh. You're going to keep
the wrong Cook. You got the brother of the Cook. I got the chef.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that a Philadelphia story right there? It's instead of Jason Giambi, you got Jeremy Giambi. Instead of Greg Maddux, you got Mike Maddux.
That's right.
There's a couple of that in Philadelphia. There's a couple of the younger brother syndromes that went on.
Dave Schultz for those Flyer fans.
There you go. There you go.
Have you guys been to this place, Nightmare, downtown?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's kind of a club that's actually an open air restaurant.
Huh.
And they got a drink. They're using my wife's mezcal. They're using Fósforo.
Okay.
This sort of big bunch of bottles. It is. I'm telling you guys, you got to go there before Halloween because it's dressed up like Stranger Things. It's one of the most exciting places on earth, and it's right.
Nightmare? What's it called? Nightmare.
Nightmare. Yeah, it is really one of the great. I would call it a club. I mean, it's got a cover.
But Adam hasn't been clubbing since last week, so I don't know if we can get him out.
I had a stamp on 3 straight days. I couldn't get it off. I kept trying to get it off because it looked really bad, Like, what a stamp. A guy's at a TV show with the stocks, he got a stamp on. Obviously, he was out too late. But you can't do it. Sometimes they use it as like, I told my wife they use mercurochrome. And she said, what's mercurochrome? I said, it's like gentian violet. Another thing they gave you, Bluebell Day Camp.
I went there.
Bluebell not.
I sure as hell did.
Caplan, you did not. Really?
Yeah, Twin Spring Farm.
Sure. Sachem?
What's that?
Did you ever reach Sachem level, or were you just?
I don't know anything. I just went to Twin Spring Farm before that in Bluebell. Oh, hell yeah!
So I go.
The Crypto Sports Academy.
I go on Parents' Day in Bluebell, and Johnny Coppersmith. I get in the ring because we were learning boxing.
I remember all this stuff.
And Coppersmith knocks me out in front of my parents. He knocks me out.
Oh my god.
It's very rare that I just completely lose control of an interview, but I'm happy to have done that today. I want to ask you this before we get out of here. Okay, I'm going to put you in the ultimate ringer here, Jim, because again, this is a rare moment. We've got the Phillies in the playoffs and the Eagles are undefeated. If you had to pick one to win the championship, you picking the World Series or the Super Bowl? Now, context matters. Like the Eagles just won one 5 years ago. We're getting on a decade here or longer with the Phillies. So
let's just understand it's a football town because if you remember when we won Game 5, going down and we won the World Series, Brian Westbrook had just scored 2 touchdowns in a game against the Falcons, and he played with broken ribs and a broken ankle. And I think that we cared more about that win than we cared about the Phillies beating Tampa Bay. So I'm an Eagle. And
the parade was pretty good, though. You got to admit, the World Series parade was pretty darn good.
We had a great team then.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the fly in a wine. I was flying wine for a while on the set, and then they started calling me Chase after I went down and got the Chase pitch. But I've always been known as a Philly, and I think I'm going to have to change. Get the staff to start naming me something like an Eagle. And you know who it is? It's this fellow from Camden who's playing his butt off.
Reddick?
Son Reddick.
Hassan.
They call me Hassan. Are they calling me? I'm asking the guy who's good friends with Justin Pugh. It's the guy who played with Micah. Can you trip Micah? Can you kick him in the back like you would a cameraman? Was that you with the cameraman? I'm asking the guy from Penn State, Geoff Marks. Also Upper Dublin.
Okay.
Right near
so
Ben
he
and
knows.
Irvs. Can you believe this guy?
Ben and Irvs. Oh my God. Ben and Irvs.
I believe it.
Ben and Irvs. My picture. Is your picture up there? My picture's up.
No, hell no.
No, not that famous.
Where are you, at Jaime's?
No.
At Jaime's.
That's funny. No.
Take it down.
Jim, it's been
My dad
great,
lived
man.
in Slidell Towers for a long time. 5th and Bainbridge. We used to go get a couple of sandwiches around there, too,
I bet.
Anyway, guys, this is a huge amount of fun.
Thanks so much.
See you at the signing this weekend at 12 to 2 at Bala with the fine wines. And then at the Granary, which is how we pronounce it because where we're from 4 to 6. In between, I'm going to go to Gino's, Inner Sanctum. And then after, I'm going to go to Chicky and Pete's because they got a drink named for my wife's mezcal, Fósforo.
Awesome.
That's amazing. What a day you've got, a Sunday. That's going to be an awesome time. We really appreciate having you on.
Are we going to win Sunday?
We got to save that for the pregame show, Jim. We don't give out the answers a little early.
We should get him on the pregame show, man.
Oh, my God. We really should have you on our pregame show.
We got
that would be great.
Cam Parsons did not feel well that day. Would it kill him to not feel well? Would it kill him? I mean, can someone hit him with a bat? I don't want assault or battery on this guy. I just want him to not play.
Well, maybe it'll snow and you can throw some snowballs and not batteries instead.
Santa Claus had a crummy year that year.
He did. He did.
He
All right,
missed.
we're going to keep.
Santa batted like 200, and he had 3 errors from third base. Oh no, that's Bohm. I'm sorry. I get the
Mario Mendoza. We didn't say 200. Anyway.
He loves this place now, by the way, Alec Bohm.
Yeah.
He loves it here.
Demonic Brown. Remember him? Don't trade Demonic Brown. Don't trade him.
Dominic Brown was in the crowd this year, this season.
Like AI. He's the answer.
He was for 1 month, man. He had an incredible month.
He was player of the
Brown.
month.
He was.
Now, but someone asked me if I was going to buy the Iron Pigs. I said, like Iron Pigs? Yeah, I'm just going to Jim Cramer's Iron Pigs. No. No. That's not going to happen. No.
I didn't know they were for sale. All right. Jim, it's been great, man. We really appreciate it. We'll continue watching you on CNBC's Mad Money. You are the expert. You are the man. It's been wonderful, man. We really appreciate it. Enjoy your Sunday. You got an action-packed Sunday. Have a great one.
It's getting up. He's very angry at me because I said that he was a friend of Saquon Barkley. I meant Miles Sanders, okay? Not Saquon.
Oh, well, there's a difference
Saquon's
there.
in the tent, by the way. He's in the tent. You don't want to be in the tent. He's in the tent.
He's been awesome so far. He's Superman.
He's having a good year.
I know. Well, okay, fine.
He might be their best quarterback, by the way.
Ouch.
I don't hate the Giants as much as the Cowboys, okay? Because there's too many New York fans here, and they could beat the heck out of me because I'm no longer 5'10". I'm now like 5'6".
Oh, boy. All right, my friend. It's been great catching up with you. Really appreciate you coming on Inside the Birds TV. For Jim Cramer and Adam Caplan, I'm Geoff Mosher. You've been watching ITB TV.
Thank you, guys.